Assalamualaikum and a very good day to all of you. I'm Sharuliza and I'm going to present my case study portfolio. This portfolio is about a service learning project that I did with 4 students in an orphanage in Sungai Petani, Kedah. Okay, demographic information. My 4 students, they are all 12 years old. They live in an orphanage in Sungai Petani, Kedah. Okay, gender, female, and they were all in primary 6. Okay, background information. My students, they are all Malay students, so they have Malay cultural heritage, and their first language is BM. Their experience with the second language is only in school. As you all know, we have MCO, Movement Control Order, for more than 2 years. So because of that, they had no face-to-face class, and they had online classes. They sometimes watch English movies on TV, and they don't read any English book. Okay, in their PDPR timetable, English was held thrice a week for an hour each class. This is a picture of my students. There are 4 of them. Okay, the first girl is QM. She's cheerful. She's a good analyzer. However, she's sensitive and she can do work individually. She's the only child and she doesn't like to do extra work. She always needs a break. Next girl, FA. She's quiet. She's always sick. However, she's polite, obedient, and she can do work independently. FA is considerate and helpful, and she's the youngest in her family. EI, okay, EI, she hates a lot of things as she easily gives up. She's not confident. She has a younger sister there. Okay, when we teach her, everything has to be explained, and she needs a partner to help her complete her work. Last but not least, AR. AR always needs assurance. She's shy, introvert, however, she's a fast thinker and worker. She prefers to work individually. She helps others when asked, and she's a fluent reader. Okay, basically this is their language skills. Okay, I did 4 lessons with them. Lesson 1, Lesson 2, Lesson 3, and 4. Lesson 1 is an individual work. Lesson 2 and 3, group work. And Lesson 4 is pair work. Okay, if you can see the results, this is 4 out of 7. Okay, and 3 out of 7, which is not bad. Okay, all right. For group work and pair work, they did very well. Okay, they excelled. When I first diagnosed them, I saw them as A1 movers. This is because when I gave them a CFR A1 diagnostic test, they did not do well in their test, and the students' progress have been shown in the previous slide. Okay, now let's discuss social or conversational language versus academic language skills. Okay, basically, my students did quite well in academic language skills. Okay, as you saw the result just now, okay, that is a proof of their academic language skills. They can function well in academic language skill. The only conversational language skill that I had with them was at the beginning of my lesson. Before I started my lessons, normally I would have a conversation with them. Okay, and I think the most developed communicative competence is the linguistic competence. That is, the students, they were able to move from A1 to B1, and it shows that they could understand most vocabulary, language conventions, and also syntax in the handout. The least developed communicative competence is the discourse and strategic. Okay, this is because I didn't focus on these aspects, and I just wanted them to be comfortable with English. Second language acquisition theory that I chose for my case study portfolio is the natural approach. Okay, the goal of natural approach is to promote naturalistic language learning in classroom. Okay, in my case, it's at the orphanage. Communication is emphasized over conscious grammar study and explicit correction of students' errors. Okay, and it targeted stress-free learning atmosphere. Language production is not forced but arises naturally once pupils have been exposed to large amount of understandable language input. That was what I did with my students. And reading is a valuable source of comprehensible input and can contribute significantly to the development of overall proficiency. Natural approach allows students to begin reading as soon as they have sufficient command of the language to infer sense from the text. Reading will help acquisition if it is understandable. Okay, this is what we can identify as I plus 1. Alright, we can hypothesize that all that is required for learning to read is appropriate text and also appropriate goals. This is to help natural readers to gain reading abilities without teaching them. Okay, this is a work sample and I'm going to relate it to SLA theory. Handout, okay, it's about summer vacation and the words in this are repetitive, okay, and it has fill in the blanks. Okay, students have to find the information in the text. Okay, in natural approach, Crescent recommends narrow and extensive reading, focusing on a single topic and contains natural repetition of vocabulary and syntax, hence the text. Okay, I gave them those questions because I wanted my students to develop skimming and scanning skills in reading. They were able to do that. However, due to their carelessness, they wrote wrong answers. This is the second handout that I gave them. Okay, it's about best friends. If you look at the vocabulary, it's easy. Okay, and it's repetitive. And the exercises are true, false, and also fill in the blank. Okay, for this handout, the passage is appropriate as it meets two criteria, that is, appropriate level of complexity, and it is interesting. According to Crescent and Terrell 1983, the optimal material for teaching reading and boosting second language acquisition should not be so cognitively demanding that comprehension is hampered. As for the questions in the exercises, there are true and false questions and also get feeling exercises that targeted adverbs. However, I did not teach them adverb explicitly. I asked the students to use their dictionary to look up for the meaning of words that they didn't understand. And the exercises help the students to develop skimming and scanning skills, and I believe the objective of the lesson were achieved as the students were able to answer correctly. This is the third handout that I gave them. These are the questions. Okay, this is the explanation for the third handout that I gave them. Okay, the text was deemed as CEFRB1, which was I plus 1 for my students. Students will be able to tolerate the inclusion of some grammar and vocabulary that is beyond their current level, okay, is I plus 1. Moreover, the input hypothesis predicts that if the reading is comprehensible, the relevant structures, I plus 1, and vocabulary will be present. Okay, what makes a text comprehensible are lexical, syntactic requirements, and semantic appropriateness. In the word matching exercises, the students use local cues to help them match words to meaning. Among the local cues that the students used were various linguistic cues and knowledge of the world to arrive to the meaning of the passage and exercises. In the comprehension questions, the students found the answer by using their skimming and scanning skill as well as extensive reading. What are the factors affecting their success? Okay, a factor affecting their success is their gender. Okay, they are all girls who live together in the same house, in the same orphanage. Girls have better integrative motivation and better attitudes toward L2 learning. Girls tend to use varieties of learning strategies and social strategies which are helpful in L2 learning. Okay, this is according to Zafar and Meenakshi 2012. Moreover, they have no inhibition. This is also a factor for affecting their success. Okay, they have no inhibition that would hinder the process of second language learning. They were not shy to make mistakes in front of other girls. In addition, I believe learning strategies play an important part in the girls' L2 learning. I encourage the girls to use cognitive strategies such as resourcing. Okay, they were allowed to use dictionary and Google. And inferencing, they guess the meaning by looking at clues in the sentences. Or just now I used the word cues. Alright, and other learning strategies that the girls used were social and affective strategies, which involve them interacting with each other. Just now I've told you, they did their work as a group or as pairs. Okay, I encourage group work and pair work, which help them to solve problems, gather information, check a learning task, and correct mistakes. As for professional growth, I've learned that there is no one-size-fits-all technique to teaching reading. Okay, nonetheless, I must get to know my students and their requirements to determine which techniques are most suited to their needs and learning styles. I focus on reading, and I must make sure they acquire the necessary reading skills. I analyze the text in CEFR Text Analyzer and the exercises that I gave them would further enhance their learning. There were some words that they found difficult, thus I encouraged them to refer to their dictionary and Google. Okay, when I gave them the B1 reading text, I was quite nervous of my choice of text. The students did take quite some time, but they were able to do it. At this point, I myself realized that reading doesn't have to be taught explicitly. As long as the students have I+1, they would be able to do it. Thanks to Crescent and Terrell and their natural approach, teachers like me, I feel I will venture into uncharted sea to bring out students' potential in reading. Okay, that is all from me. Thank you very much.